Right on time, gang, indeed.
I use Shenhe as the image as a thumbnail for this stream. I thought that was appropriate.
Aw.
Could have done Mika, but
I was really looking forward to looking up some
okay, we're
art
live.
and putting that in as the thumbnail, but I
How's it
just
going, everyone?
didn't have time. How are you all, everyone?
I'm doing well. In spite of the fact that I'm extremely tired, which we were just talking about, I'm actually doing well, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we always enjoy having you on as the brains of the operation here, so to speak.
Definitely the brains.
Well, my brain's running about half speed today, so that's what you're gonna get. That's what you're
So
gonna get.
it's at least double mine then. Okay.
All right, fair enough.
Lion, how are you doing tonight?
My allergies are kicking my ass, but
You may
otherwise I
have
think
lost
I'm
Lion's
okay.
audio.
That didn't take long.
Okay, well,
Ugh.
we will.
Are you serious with this?
So right now, Lion is in the driver's seat for tonight, at least.
I forgot I muted.
Oh, okay.
I was blowing my nose.
That's good.
My allergies are kicking the shit out of me, but
Oh,
otherwise I'm okay. I'm looking forward to going to see John Wick 4 tomorrow.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good. I hope.
Does that have Lance Reddick in it?
I imagine it probably does.
It does.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
does have Lance Reddick, which is, my goodness, what a sad bit of news.
Yeah, sudden
this
loss.
week.
Yeah, I was
it
not expecting that at all.
That was definitely a real shocker.
I'm very sad about it. As though some of you may know, in the chat, and I don't know about Null, Trevoid might. He is one of the, or was, I guess. I'm still not used to that. He was one of the faces of Destiny for going on 9 years.
I was aware of that. I'm not a Destiny player, but I was aware of it.
Yeah, I've seen all the news about players doing like vigils and stuff like that around his character. So,
yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, definitely a loss. I first remember him in Lost. I was a huge fan of Lost, and he had a pretty small part, but he had this presence. He had this real presence on screen. So yeah, definitely someone who's going to be missed.
Yeah, I'm tearing up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I know it's hard.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Oh, hello, Indo. Indo, I'm not going to say that out loud, in fear of upsetting Lion.
Yeah, we definitely don't need to bring that in. Although,
yeah,
I might agree with that. Too.
Oh my god,
that's neither here nor there.
Where's the kick button? Where is it?
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Lance Reddick. Yeah,
we were. Well, enjoy the movie tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a fun thing.
Hopefully, somewhere in there, because this happened before. It was released. Hopefully there's some kind of a acknowledgement, in the end. And if there's not, I can understand that too, because, it was just a few days ago. Yeah. So, and I don't know how they do reels and things like that now. Is it all digital, or I don't know?
I think it's got to be all digital. I worked. Gosh, this is going back 25 plus years, but I worked in a movie theater doing projection, and even then we were like one of the legacy theaters that was using prints, right? Like it just was not new theaters were not being built to work with prints, and that was the late 90s.
Is it just an MP4 file now that they just press play on?
Honestly, like they probably just have a Blu-ray player.
Yeah,
right. Just shove a Blu-ray in.
Yeah. Yeah, you go for the experience, not necessarily the quality of the.
And that is an experience I just don't want anymore. Maybe I'm just old. But
no, that's fair. I understand that sentiment.
It's not the world's best experience. So oh, we got a goose.
Oh, hello, Goose. How's it going, Goose?
What's going on?
So, Lion, you've parked at a special spot here.
I have.
With your new character. I'd love to hear. I haven't heard from you yet about your wishes. Now I know
Ooh.
you got into this game because of Shenhe, or at least partially because of Shenhe.
Now, when you say Shenhe, do you mean this character right here?
That's the one.
Yes,
That's exactly the one,
sir.
I'd love to hear how that went for you.
Well, it was a tragic tale. Very, very. It had a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs. It did have the payoff, but as far as my polls went, I went almost to hard pity twice. I lost my 50-50 for Shenhe to Tanari.
Which,
Was that new?
I'm not
Was
mad
that
about.
new for you?
Tanari, no, he's a 1, I think.
C1,
Okay.
you have him at.
All right.
Yeah, C1.
Now where did we land with Shenhe? Did you stop at C0?
Well, here's the thing. I decided that what I wanted to do was I wanted to get Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Because they pair really well together.
They pair extremely well together. Yes.
Here's the thing: is a great start. So
Yep.
I agree.
I'm not an immense fan of Ayaka, but I said, you know what? I'll give it a shot. She's a really good character. I know objectively she's really good. So I went for Shenhe C0, and look at that dull blade, gross. And then I went for Shenhe, then Ayaka C0. I proceeded to lose my 50-50 for Ayaka to Tree Void's favorite character, who is now C3. I'm not mad. You're mad. Shut up.
Outstanding. That's just outstanding.
Yeah. Everyone, you're the one who always says that Diluc is good, right? So you're getting even more reasons to show that.
Uh-huh.
Now you're gonna
Rub it in.
you gotta follow that video we were talking about earlier in the week.
Yeah, I can do that. Almost.
Do C4 Ayaka, and then you can have Melt D-Loop going. It's gonna be amazing.
I'm not gonna level this up. And then when I went for Ayaka, when I was going for the guarantee, I think I got cursed by some of the people that I was in chat with, that I was streaming it for. Not gonna name any names, but
I have many favorites in though.
I ended up going almost to hard pity for Ayaka as well. I think it was 84 or 85.
Oh.
Yeah. So the actual wishes have been horrible. However, I then went for the weapon banner, and I decided that what I was going to do was set my path for. Can we see it? Yeah, I set my path for Mistsplitter because I know this game. And every time I set my path for the thing that I want, it gives me the other thing.
And I see that your fate point is at 1 out of 2.
Mm-hmm.
It is at 1 out of 2. So I did some polls last night, and they went horribly. And I logged in today. I said, you know what? Let me prepare some stuff. I'll get it ready for the stream. And I did a single 10 poll.
He's really taking us on a ride.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a journey.
And
I'm looking for that skyward blade.
Those of you who are keen of eye may notice what the result was.
Hey, all right.
And there she blows.
We got what we came in for. I don't have the... I hadn't been farming for it because I was assuming that I was going to just go Favonius. So I don't have the stuff for these.
Well...
So now I have something to do with my resin. So
Yeah, I mean, you're still probably going to be using Favonius in some use cases, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So it's not like urgent.
Which my Favonius, I just need to. I literally just finished farming for this, It was Homa that I was farming for. I just need to get a couple more of the thingy, the shackle, dream of the dandelion. This thing right here. I just need a few more of those. So,
today is the day to farm it too.
Yes, I just got done farming for the final material for Homa instead for Rosaria. I am low on enhancement materials, as you can see. I've been enhancing a bunch of stuff. I kind of lost the plot, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. We have Raw Life in chat.
Hey.
He's asking if you can show the Cloud Girl, which we don't
Hell
quite
yeah.
have.
Let's do this trial. I saved this just for you guys. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So this isn't quite the Cloud Girl Raw, but this is.
What do you mean?
This is like Cloud Girl's best. This isn't. He's talking about Cloud Retainer's human form.
Oh man, Cloud Retainer is also pretty hot. Not gonna lie.
But this is like Cloud Girl's best friend.
I mean, she's pretty great. So the way that Shenhe works, she is a polearm user of the cryo variety, and her whole thing is she is this weird support / indirect DPS type character, and her whole thing is based around her skill. So the way that she works, you're gonna press or hold your skill, and you see how she's got the little buff right there going. Well, what it does is it gives buffs to her teammates and as well as herself to increase their cryo damage based on Shenhe's own attack. So she's a weird character where she doesn't do a bunch of damage herself, but she's also not like a real support either. Because it's not like she's Bennett where she's giving you huge attack, like direct attack buffs and things like that. She's just increases your damage. That's all she does.
So, do the quills from her skill do damage, like off-field damage, or is it just a buff?
It's just a buff.
Oh, okay.
And the way that it works is it will buff the first X number of instances of damage that the character does that's cryo. So, for example, I've got Rosaria here. Rosaria has her own skill, which she dashes forward and she does 2 hits. So if she hits an opponent with both hits, it's going to use up 2 quills. If she hits someone, let's say they're really a bunch of enemies tightly packed together, and you hit one of them with the first part, and you get like 2 enemies with the horizontal, the arc, it's going to consume a total of 3 quills. Shenhe has a press skill, which gives you 5 quills, which I don't know if you can actually see that there's 5 of them or not.
I just see a bunch of symbols floating around her.
Yeah, it's not very specific.
If that's 5 of them, like I wouldn't be able to tell.
And then she
based
has
off that visual indicator.
A hold skill, which is this one, that gives you 7. Let me see. Can I come? Okay, yeah, here we go. So literally, it's just a buff based on Shenhe's own attack that directly increases the amount of damage your other character does. Versus Bennett, who just gives you a huge attack buff.
And so it's only like at the maximum with the charge, it's 7 instances of it, correct?
Yes.
So she doesn't scale well in AoE then?
So crucially, it's 7 instances per unit
character
on your team,
Mm-hmm.
right? So each character will get that many instances.
Each cryo unit, right?
Correct. Each cryo unit. Well, technically, everyone
each
gets
character
it.
gets it. It only
Every
buffs
character
cryo
gets
damage.
it.
Oh,
But
okay.
Right. So animo units in particular could do cryo damage by swirling animo,
Oh, okay,
or
I
by
see.
swirling cryo, and so they would still get that benefit. So yeah, it's per character, and the other crucial one is that the hold skill comes with a 15-second cooldown instead of a 10-second cooldown.
The other part of it is, that specifically affects her skill. Her Ascension, I think it's 4 passive, buffs your party members' normal attacks, charged attacks, skill, or burst, depending on whether you tap or you hold. When you tap, which you're pretty commonly going to be doing, it's going to give you a... I'm not sure what size it is. I think it's 15%. It might be 20. So it increases skill and burst damage for everyone by 15%. And when you hold it, it's normal charged and plunging damage.
Okay, and that's just a damage boost. It's not tied to any elements or anything.
Yes, that is correct. So it works for everybody.
That's like a neat addition. I don't know how much that necessarily... It feels like something that's tacked on, right? Like, if the rest of her is cryo support, then she just has this splash of generic support as well.
Well, she also, with her burst, which I'm just going to use here, enemies like once you start damaging them, enemies inside this area, which is actually kind of small, it has a resistance shred for cryo and strangely physical damage. Of I think it's 20%.
So a EULA button, right?
Yeah, it allows her to support EULA as well as cryo units. So
it looks like it's 11% right now, and then it increases as I level
it scales with the levels.
I think it's 15% at rank 10. So she has she's wearing a lot of hats.
Have a good evening, Goop.
Where she's able to support physical and cryo characters through a couple of different means. Like I said, her own damage is terrible, but you can kind of look at it as her quills are her damage, sort of, because it is directly increasing the amount of damage you can do with other characters. A neat trick that I didn't know you could do, thank you, Zajef, for teaching me this. Not like me specifically, it was in Ask Zajef, Shenhe edition. You can use Shenhe's tap skill, go through, kind of your rotation, and then as you burst with Ayaka, Ayaka will get the damage bonus from the burst, as well as the quills. You can swap back to Shenhe, skill again, and then swap back to Ayaka, and she's gonna get the quills refreshed essentially, as well as the burst damage bonus, which is a neat little bit of synergy.
Yeah, she is basically a mega amplifier for Ayaka. Very similar, actually, to the way that Yunjin is kind of a mega amplifier for Yoimiya. They just work exceptionally well together. There are other units you can run with Shenhe, right? Like it's not just Ayaka, but the synergy there is so strong, to the point where even I, who was feeling good after my pulls yesterday, am still considering picking up Shenhe, but there's some things on the horizon that I'm interested in as well. So.
I hugely recommend Shenhe at all times.
So, interestingly, I built Rosaria yesterday as well. So I built Rosaria because I needed someone to... I don't have Shenhe, so I needed someone to run with Ayaka. Yeah. So I built Rosaria. I was a little torn between doing Rosaria or Kaya. But Rosaria is one of those characters that I've always wanted to build, and so it was like, hey, here's a good opportunity.
Right.
So, she's in decent shape now, not great, but I got kind of crapped on by this group yesterday for saying that my Ayaka wasn't in great shape, and apparently these guys consider her in great shape with her 240 or 250 crit damage at this point.
It's just a smidge.
We have different standards, and Lion does not have very good artifact luck, so I think there's a difference in AR and just general expectations.
The strong box was really not a friend to me last night. It was an extremely frustrating experience.
Also, having the ability to strongbox is very nice compared to other artifact sets that are not
Yes.
strongboxable.
Yes, absolutely. The ability to take all of my garbage Shimenawas and Emblem and throw them in for Blizzard Strayer was quite helpful. I think I ended up in an okay place in my deck. Lion, are you done wishing though? Like I know.
Here's the thing.
I feel like this is gonna be his punchline.
Yes.
His catchphrase.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing about wishing, alright? You don't know me. I haven't decided. I would really like to get some more cons for Shenhe. But is that a good idea? I don't know.
Well, like, my statement on constellations is always the same, and it's basically, if you're gonna use the unit and you think it makes them better for your account, more fun to play, there's no downside other than, are you willing to spend the money, right? Like, that's a personal call. So I have several, not high constellation, but multi-constellation 5 stars in my account, and I play them all very regularly. Do I wish that everyone was like Al-Haytham and not need any constellations at all? Yes, I do, but it's not that way.
Yeah, like in terms of 5-star constellations, I don't mind them. Like I generally tend to prefer a wider roster, like a horizontal investment over vertical investment, just because for me, like I don't really struggle with Abyss, and Abyss being the only endgame content, I don't see the need to do too much vertical investment. Obviously, I have done some, right? Like I have a C2 Yelan, and I have her bow, and I have Staff of Homa, so it's not that I don't do any vertical. It's just I tend to prefer more units because it gives me a different way to play the game instead of doing slightly more damage. Like if there's constellations that change how you play or like are good quality of life, like C1 Yelan adding the extra use of her skill, I think that's like a significant improvement, or like C1 Hu Tao, like those are the constellations I think are more worth it, and to me, because like if it lowers your ER or stuff along those lines, then I care about it more. But just in terms of it's like a 5% or 10% damage increase, those are a much more hit or miss on.
Sure. Like I said, at that point, the downside is the money, right? Like, are you willing to spend the money to do that? And it's completely fair to say, no, I'm not.
Yeah. I haven't. God damn, that's annoying. I haven't decided. Because essentially, Shenhe, her constellations aren't terribly amazing outside of some specific ones. C1 gives her an extra charge on her skill, which can be nice if you want to, tap then hold on her skill, for example, so that you can buff, skill and burst and normal and charge damage. Or you can make double skill rotations a little bit easier. But what I'm really interested in here is C2, which makes her burst field last longer, and it makes it it gives the characters inside increased cryo crit damage, which sounds really nice. The rest of it is literally more damage on her skill and more synergy for normal and charged damage.
Everything else in our kit is whale bait. I think C2, it's for Shenhe, I think C0, C1, and C2 are all reasonable stopping points. Beyond that, it's you're heading to Whale Town, right? Like it's not going to be enough benefit unless you're just going all the way to C6. Even then, that's if you want to. It has an insane synergy with Ayaka C6. It's like literally brutal damage from Ayaka's special normal attacks that she gets with her C6. But truthfully, to Treevoid's point, right? Like at that point, what does it even matter, right? All the content in the game is just rolling over for you anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Cell added like his 2 cents here. Uh, they said that they're more into vertical buildings because they want their faves to be super strong instead of getting more characters that they're not going to use. So I totally get that. Like, I mean, that's why I don't pull on like every character. Like, I'm not pulling Shenhe or Ayaka because even though I like a wider roster, if I'm not going to build them, then what's the point, right? Like, I'm just throwing money away. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
that.
like eventually I could, in theory, build them, but
But they'll be back, right? Like
they'll be
if
back. Yeah,
if they're not on your agenda this time, that doesn't mean you're never going to build them. But I get the vertical, right? I mean, I've got C3 Ayato, right? Most people would say, well, that's ridiculous, especially if you're running him like I do with Hyperbloom. But it's super fun. I love playing Ayato, so I have zero regrets about that.
yeah. No, that's totally fair. It's just like I I already have a backlog of so many units to build that it's like uh, I can't invest in units that I'm interested in Ayaka, but just like I have an unbuilt Venti, I have an unbuilt Sucrose, I have so many units that I haven't even started on. I have weapons that I haven't started on. Like it's just
Yep.
yeah.
I'm 100. I'm 100% with you. Like the character right now that I'm most upset, I think that I don't have built as well as I want is Sucrose, and I notice it every time I want to run two teams that need a good grouper in Abyss, and I have Kazuha, and I have look, my Venti is built and is pretty solid, but Venti works only when Venti works, whereas Sucrose and Kazuha work for everything.
Yeah.
And so it's, like even if I just want to, even if I'm really just having it for VV swirls, like Venti isn't great unless he's doing his magic.
Right.
Well, I'll give the very quick update on my polls. I was very happy with mine. It was my first 50-50 win to pick up Ayaka in a long time. I had 5 50-50 losses in a row going in, and
That's rough.
I sniped Ayaka on 29 towards pity. So I was very pleased with that. And then I only lost one roll on the weapon banner going for Miss Splitter. Picked up a second copy of Amos's bow. Wasn't thrilled with that, of course, because that sits on my very unused Ganyu. But it wasn't too bad. I think all told about 150 wishes, and I had Ayaka and Miss Splitter. I was pretty happy to walk away. I am seriously considering vertical investment on Ayaka. I really want to wait and see what's coming next before I make that decision, just because I felt really good yesterday with the wishes I had left over from the Yalan fiasco, combined with the wishes we got for doing the Archon quests.
I forgot about those.
I didn't spend any money yesterday, and I got a character and a weapon, and I was like, well, this feels pretty darn good to not spend a dime, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very much in a holding pattern.
Yeah, I mean, I did 19 pulls just to get Mika because Mika would be the only 4-star unit that I'm missing, and I managed to get him. Like that's why I stopped at 19, and it's a random number otherwise.
It is a very random number.
Yeah. So I got him, and I'm not going to build him, but at least the collection is complete. So I'm good there. Yeah. Would I like Ayaka's weapon? Yeah, but I don't want to risk getting Calamity Queller because I have no one that it's going to be used for, and I am very interested in Kave because I like I'll hate them. And that's about it. Like, regardless of what his character is, I want to at least get him. And Baizu is a character that I've always been interested in from a lore reason. And we know he's coming because he had the drip marketing last time. So I'm
We know
interested to see.
we
Yeah.
know they're both on the way.
Yes.
That is honestly what I'm waiting for, because I actually love both of those character designs. I've loved Baiju since the early game when we first met the character. I thought his design was just super cool. And Kave's design and yeah, the interplay with Alhaitham is very fun, and I'm just very hopeful that both of them are going to be a lot of fun.
We will see.
Well, you brought up Mika, and I think that that's a good segue. Has anyone played him yet outside of his trial?
Yes. Very briefly. Keep in mind, mine is level 20.
That's a hard place from which to form an opinion, but all right, let's do it.
Mika gameplay.
Oh, yeah. He's, strongest character in the game. He's broken.
Yeah.
Beast mode.
Yeah, he looks like Ramza. You know, that's kind of cool.
I did
People
get
like
really
Ramza.
tired of seeing him repeatedly instead of Shenhe. I ended up, during my pulls, I did end up, sorry, Catherine, I did end up with a C, like 8 or 9 Mika. So he's done.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Wow.
Yeah.
I did not pick him up, so I haven't played him, but I do have thoughts. I'm so disappointed because our last 4-star was Yao Yao, and I am on record on this show of saying Yao Yao is the best 4-star released post-launch of the game. I think some people want to come at me on that one. I think there's probably some disagreement, but I think Yao Yao is the best. Part of that is just how great Dendro is.
Yeah, that does it a lot. But I think in general, like, she's just a very solid unit with no real downsides.
She's kind of as advertised, right? She's a Dendro healer. She has pretty good Dendro application. It's not Nahida level, but nobody's Nahida level, so that's fine. And she heals a ton. I mean, she absolutely heals a ton. So she's good to solo heal just about anything. But Mika to me just feels like yet another incredibly niche and only marginally, if you could even say, better at the role than like a general support, right? Like the comparison with these niche supports is always, are they better than Bennett for what they're doing? And I think with Mika, sure, you could say it because the use case is explicitly an area where Bennett is sometimes a problem, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but he's still not that great. So, Lion, what are your thoughts?
I think he has some interesting potential. I think that his kit clearly has some really big problems. Most notably his skill, which you can press it and it fires off a cryo infused bolt,
With a long cooldown.
Yes, it's like 15 seconds. It makes
that's excessive.
4 particles, which is okay, but for a skill that has a 15-second cooldown, it's not great. And this particular bolt, let me go back to it, has limited range, and it does feature some limited like piercing. So if you hit an enemy with it, it can hit other enemies behind them in the event that like they're clustered together. Which I'm gonna swim over here. I've got some stuff to get, so I'll show you on this this dude.
Cell is saying that holding the button is Pog.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
In AoE.
Well, yes, that too. Let me shield up first so he doesn't instantly die. So, please don't kill me. That's all you get, right?
No, he's frozen. Mika's a free support? Broken.
No, not at all.
I saw him freeze.
Okay.
His cryo application's fairly terrible.
It's terrible. So when you hold it, you can do this sort of aim mode thing that automatically targets a specific enemy.
Oh yeah, I see it. As soon as it gets in the reticle, it has a lock on.
Yeah. And what that does is it'll hit the enemy that you target, and it has, I don't even want to call this an AoE. Basically what it does is when it hits the enemy, it'll fire off these little bolts that come off of it, and it can hit up to 3 enemies in a pretty small-ish range around it. But it does seek them automatically, which can be nice. So he does have a little bit of AoE application, but otherwise his cryo application is horrible. And then the major mechanic that you get with it is that the bolt itself, and this is easier to explain when you're reading it, I'm sorry. When it hits something, it grants it gives your characters a buff, and while they have that buff, it increases their attack speed. This is really nice because there's only a couple of ways. There's not that many ways to increase your attack speed in the game, right? However, where is the? It's not this part. It is. Is that his? There we go. While they have this, it also will allow you to increase party members' physical damage based on how many enemies you hit with the bolt from the skill. Which sounds really good. You're like, oh man, you know, I can hit somebody and it hits the 3 enemies around them. Oh, that's 4 stacks. Well, to start with, the cap on it is 3 at base. As you get constellations, that increases by 1 to a maximum of 4.
So 40% boost.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
However, it doesn't count the enemy that you hit initially. So realistically, it's 30%. And if you're if you do the tap and you only hit 1 enemy, you get nothing. If you're in single target and you do the tap or the hold, you get nothing. Which is pretty horrible.
I did not know that. That is news to me.
That's really bad.
Is,
yeah. So I guess you're not taking him against the Wellnut then.
You still get the attack speed buff, though.
Yes, you always get the attack speed buff.
Okay.
But the fact that you can literally use the character and go, boop, and hit just 1 enemy and get nothing from it is bad.
Wow. Yeah, that's
oh, wow, that is super noticeable attack speed, though. My God.
25% attack speed is huge, and characters like Zhongli can absolutely make use of it.
And that's...
For what it's worth, the idea that he could be a support for Crescent Pike Zhongli, the so-called Pike Li, yeah, I think it could work. You know, I had it in my head before he came out and before we really had any idea about his terrible cryo app.
Yeah, it's really bad.
That I would love to use him for a freeze enabler for an Ayato freeze team, because Ayato loves attack speed. Absolutely loves attack speed, and 25% is just so huge. But he does not have the cryo application to make it work. Like it's you'd have to run double cryo, and then you're running Blizzard Strayer Ayato, and then you're kind of restricting yourself to freeze. It's a mess.
Oh, that's really good,
isn't it? Though, see,
I like that. That's only 16%. It gets even better.
Yeah.
Can't you throw Yinj in there and then get even more?
You can. The cap is around 60%. You can get up to about 60% attack speed boost, and you can get to the point where Ayato's standard is to do 15 slashes. You can get to the point where he does, I think, 23 slashes.
I do like that.
Ayato's just so fun. It's just so satisfying, right? Like
see the machine gun go.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Um,
I'm truly blown away though to hear that it doesn't give the physical buff if it only hits your primary target. That is wild.
they fix it with constellations, where when you hit like your initial target, it will also give you a stack. His constellations are kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie.
That's rough.
I didn't even cover his burst yet. So his burst, this is better explained again through reading. He puts on a state where you start regenerating HP for your party members, but it's limited in terms of its cool. It's a tick that only ticks every 2.5 seconds, and one of his constellations lowers the interval between ticks, so you end up healing a bit more. That being said, I'm also told, I haven't tried this yet, that it's when the character does damage. So you can realistically cycle between characters and do damage to also get more healing, which is also pretty neat. But it also doesn't apply cryo. It does no damage. So Mika's damage overall is really bad. However, it's not all gloom and doom for Mika. Let me see here. Obvious Favonius user. At C6, obviously this is where the physical support actually comes through, where you're getting some more crit damage. This is standard, niche support C6 type thing.
Your Goros, your Farazans, all that. Yeah.
As well. Another horrible thing. His burst cost 70 energy on a character that has really terrible energy generation. From what I've seen, people are recommending upwards of 200% ER for him.
Yeah, sounds like Farazan. Great.
Yeah, it's pretty rough out here for Mika. There's so many things going against him and so few working for him, that it's going to be really hard to justify playing him, especially when his whole thing is, deal more physical damage, heal. For a physical damage team, you could run Diona, who also is cryo, who shields and heals. Or you could run Shenhe, who has resistance shred and extra damage for your skill and burst, which for most physical teams, realistically, you're going to be looking at Eula anyway.
He is still unique. His role compression is unique for a Eula team, right? Like, he's the only one who's going to buff and heal in one setup, right? Like, the buffs that Diona brings are not going to be valuable to a physical team. Big EM boost, not helpful, right?
Oops, yeah. I'm going the wrong way.
So there is some uniqueness there. I think my issue with him, and we were talking about this a bit before the show, is, if you compare Mika to a character like Sarah can support any Electro. Obviously, she's best with Shogun, but she can support any Electro really well. My worry with Mika is that he is clearly designed to be a Eula support. Like, that is what his kit is. It's Eula support. The roll compression between physical damage and healing. The fact that he's cryo to, even though his energy generation is not great, to provide resonance and give a battery for Eula. The fact that Eula really benefits a lot from attack speed, way more so than, the other physical DPS characters we have at the time in the game. So it feels like he's just so specific, that it's really, gosh, if you're not going to play Eula, they made him not work well with anything else by nerfing his cryo application.
I think it's very odd that he's not on Eula's banner, given that like Sara is usually with Raiden, Ito Goro, Faru's on Wanderer. Like it seems odd that
Agreed.
he isn't tied with his support, and I'm
I
also
think
surprised at the lack of general negative reception that I haven't heard on Mika compared to the huge outcries that we heard when Faruzan, was fair, that we heard when Faruzan was released.
so. I think the thing about Mika is that because he's not paired with Eula, there's like unless you already have her, there's no reason to use it. And so, whereas with Farazan, there was some immediacy, right? Like, you knew at C6, she was going to make Wanderer way better. I don't think that Mika is as bad as Farazan, right? In terms of constellations. And that's where I think the other key difference comes in, is that Mika gains from his constellations, but Farazan straight up doesn't work without them. Like C0 Farazan and C6 Farazan are different characters.
They're different. I mean, you can still use C0 Farazan. Like, my brother, who also plays Genshin, is currently using a C0 Farazan in his Wanderer teams and has had a noticeable increase in damage. Like, does she have 300 plus ER? Yes, but
Well,
she's
there you go.
functioning. Yeah, you're sacrificing a lot, but you are still getting results. So I think it's slightly overblown with Farazan, but the general sentiment I agree with. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like your brother.
I don't think it has to be that Farazan just doesn't work at C0. I think it's that it's so ridiculous the investment required.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think Mika has that, right? Like I think Mika, he operates in C0. There's no massive thing where you're going, well, this just flat out doesn't work. Whereas if you're trying to play,
I guess the single target is right.
well, okay, fair
that's
enough,
pretty
right?
shitty.
Like that is pretty crappy. Like he basically doesn't work for single target, which is. I'm still shaking my head and wondering what in the world are they thinking. And this is the way that this patch cycle 3.5 is going to be remembered. Is the big WTF, right? You start off with Dia. What was that all about? Then we're going to release a physical support, but we're going to release him without a physical character with him on the banner. And then his kit is going to be set up so that it doesn't work in single target. So sucks for you if you wanted to use wow, where are they going this patch cycle?
I really feel like this patch was meant to be a cooldown off of 3.4's El Haytham, Yalan, and Hutao, right? Like I think this was scheduled downtime. That's the only way I could think of it from like a business perspective. Right?
You may be right, but it seems very strange to. Well, I don't want to go into rehashing the whole deal, right?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing is still very interesting. And it's one of the few times. And look, I think it's always fair to question game developers and their motivations and things, but it's one of the few times where I am honestly just left scratching my head because I don't have any kind of rational explanation I can apply to it.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a very strange patch. I mean, like the lore tidbits we got in Windblume are cool and interesting. I haven't tried the Geo Resonance Rock thing yet, so I'm not sure if there's any interesting lore in that. But aside from those little lore tidbits and Dea's story quest, there really isn't much to discuss in 3.5.
No, there's not. It's definitely. I mean, after the last cycle where we had Lantern Right and we had a new region, yeah, this definitely feels a little bit on the downside. However, we do have a new Spiral Abyss, and it is messy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
God. You're not wrong.
This Spiral Abyss, I think I said it to you guys last night. This is the This is the first time in many cycles that I was not able to 36 star in my first evening. Now that doesn't mean I won't 36 star. I'm confident I will. But in my first evening playing, I did not 36 star it last night. I'm sitting at 33 stars actually.
Yeah, wow, 33. That's significant.
Yeah. Part of that was honestly my team choice for the first half was really poor.
Yeah.
I brought an Al Haytham team, which I just like to play. It's just fun. But no pyro units in that team, and you're trying to beat up the cryo, abyss lector in the first in 12-1, and then you have the lava trolls in 12-3, and without a pyro unit at all, those things went way slower than they should have.
Right.
So I'll go back with a Raiden national team, and Bennett and Shangling will rip those floors apart.
Yeah. The second half has the Animo snake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was
Well,
thinking, like, if there's pyro, then I could do Wanderer on the first half. But if I need Animo for the Animo snake, then maybe not. Maybe I won't do that.
So
You
for
need
what's
to
worth,
swirl.
you don't even need to swirl, truthfully. Swirl is just a good technique for it.
Mhm.
But I don't think you actually have to swirl. It's just the most efficient way to do it.
Doesn't
But-
to knock it down. I thought when I was farming it, I thought I remembered it saying you need to swirl an element to be able to trigger its knockdown phase.
You do not. What you need to do is hit the orbs with an element, and whatever element you hit the orbs with, it will become weak to while it's on the ground. Now, the best way you need to hit multiple orbs. So the best way to hit multiple orbs is to swirl an element. But you and yes, it must be a swirlable element.
Hitting the
So
balls with a swirlable element pops the orbs. I see.
correct. Yes. So it has to be one of the four swirlable elements. But you don't have to do a swirl to make it work. So like conceivably you could use like official charge shots.
Or Gonu charge shot.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And those would work, but it's way faster. And if you haven't done that floor yet, time is of the essence, because wow, this boss is a time waster. Oh my goodness, I was frustrated enough by the Wolf Lord, but this is a whole different level.
Yeah, I remember fighting him in Overworld, and he does go underground a lot. I heard
And
he
he
also
has-
has a lot of Animo resistance.
He has a lot of every resistance. His resistances are set to 55% for all elements. So
I think it's even more for Animo. That's what I heard.
I don't know if it's more for Animo. I read 55% for all, but it is like you better bring resistance shred, right?
Yeah.
Like people were talking about bringing Zhongli and an Animo unit so that you
Animo has
can
more resistance. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
So
because I was thinking my Wanderer team, right? It has Farazan and Zhongli, and Farazan has Animo shred, and Zhongli is the universal shred. So, I could do that. But if I'm popping the orbs by swirling Bennett's fire, but I'm still doing Animo damage, then I'm not hitting that resistance. So
so
Wanderer ain't really, maybe not the best choice here.
might not be the right option. No, and Sally's point is spot on. When you pop the balls, the element that popped, and crucially with Animo, you can swirl multiple elements, and you can hit balls with multiple elements, and any element that popped a ball, he will be weak to. So, there are definitely ways to do it. Some of it, honestly, is managing his patterns, because you really have to, and this is what I learned last night and why I don't yet have anything resembling a 36 star clear, is you must do some significant damage in windows of time other than just his weakness phase. Like you need to also be doing some significant damage at other times.
Yeah, unless you just have like C6 levels of DPS where you can just nuke it down in one.
Pretty much, right? Like, we were looking at that showcase video with C4 Ayaka and C6 D-Luke doing melt off of Ayaka's burst. And like, yeah, you can definitely do that if you have that kind of investment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a mess. The recommendation that I heard last night, and I would probably echo after my own experience, was, normally you're targeting 90 seconds per side. With this Animo Worm, you really want to target 60 seconds on the first side and give yourself 2 minutes.
2 minutes for him, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to take you those 2 minutes, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do for Golden Wolflord too. Even when I was running Mono Geo on the Wolflord side, just because he takes so long. There's so much time where you're not hitting the boss.
It's truly wild how much time is wasted. I suppose the advantage here is that the pattern is not random. You can learn his pattern, and he has a very specific pattern, and if you learn it, that will let you maximize your DPS uptime.
Yeah.
So it's I was fairly unhappy. I also did not enjoy 12.3.1, the double hydro lectors. That was just a pain to deal with. Was it 12.3.1 or 12.3.2? No, 12.3.2 has the double hydro lectors, and it's just like, oh, this is a lot. They're doing that spin attack everywhere. I found myself stun locked pretty frequently. Shields would be valuable there.
I was getting really frustrated with not even as far as 12 on floor 11 with I think it's the cryo mages along with the mirror maiden.
Yeah, it's not great when you get stun lock frozen. Yeah.
You get trapped inside of their stupid, the little tiny area, and then you can't dodge anything, so you get cryo applied to you, and the Mirror Maiden is doing, basically melee attacks, and you just get chain frozen, and it's so easy to just die.
Yeah, the double cryo lava churls on 12.3.1. One of them spawns ice cages, and they do this thing where if you miss dodging one of those ice cages, they both do a leap attack and land at the same time, and it'll break right through even John Lee's shields, having two of those things land on. So it's a pretty brutal abyss. I like the challenge floors. Like, as frustrated as I was by the stun locking of the double hydro guys, like, at least that's actual challenging combat. The HP and resistances through the roof of the Animo Worm, and the fact that it's not attackable for half the time you're in there, it's just frustrating, to be honest, right? Like, you're racing against the clock, and they take a bunch of the clock away from you, and then really force some specific things in there. So I'm sure I'll get it, but I did not enjoy the presence of that stupid Animo Worm.
I also didn't like floor 11's fight all the stupid water summons.
I never liked those.
No.
I didn't like that.
Why are you making me do this?
I didn't like that in the open world when I had to fight the Oceanid 1,000 times. I don't like it in the Abyss any more than I ever did there. No, it's
at least
fine.
it's
you
not
deal with it, but
fighting Oceanid in the Abyss, like, thankfully. But yeah.
God,
have they ever
don't
put
even wanna
Oceanid
think
in
about
Abyss?
Not at any time while I've been playing the game.
Like, I don't think it works with Abyss's format.
I don't think it does either.
Yeah, it would.
Well, I mean,
it
this
literally
is
takes too
Oceanid.
long.
Well, it's a timed fight, right?
That,
Like,
exactly.
basically-
It's phasing, and then
Right,
you have to activate the next. Yeah, like, I don't think it functions.
I've never seen it in the Abyss. It doesn't mean it's never been there, because I did spend about a year not playing the game. So, but so there's some good and some bad. Easily, at least within the last 6 months, easily the hardest Abyss. Easily.
Yeah, hardest
Even-
that I've played in. Yeah.
Yeah. even harder. And I know the legendary beasts got moved to floor 11. I think we all felt good taking some
I
revenge on those
breathed a
guys
sigh of relief. Yeah.
after the last cycle. Just like, okay, I'm just gonna tear the floor 11 version apart. So it's kind of nice to get a little revenge there. But this Abyss 12 is pretty brutal. And I, as frustrated as I get by it, I'm happy. We're a couple days into an Abyss cycle, and I still have more content to play. So, so I feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's good that they're scaling it up. It feels like they've been scaling it up since Dendro, or
I
at
think
least since they became aware of
I
Hyperbloom's floor.
I think they have to, right?
Yeah.
It's just Hyperbloom made so much of it so easy. It just wasn't even difficult. Now damage, I think now they can get into more mechanic things and less damage things because the floor of Hyperbloom is so high that there's almost no excuse to not be able to put out that kind of damage, right? Like you should be able to put out that damage.
At the same time, from a game balance perspective, they can't make the content so difficult that it forces you to play Hyperbloom. Because then it just stifles everything else, right?
Well, Hyperbloom is a high floor, right? It's not necessarily a high ceiling. Like there's lots of other teams that can.
But if that is the floor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
If Hyperbloom's floor becomes essentially required, it's going to make it a lot more difficult to play anything else at all. It'll just be
anything
two
that's worse
Hyperbloom
than
teams.
Hyperbloom.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. Like, I think the floor of Hyperbloom is probably a good thing because it makes high damage comps accessible to basically anybody. I do think it's overtuned. I've said that before. I do think it's overtuned. But I do think the idea of, like, if you want to hyper invest in a melt team or a vape team, you're probably going to get beyond what you can do with a Hyperbloom team. Hyperbloom has some pretty hard caps on what it can do. But it also means that if you haven't yet had the time to farm artifacts for months to build that kind of team, you don't get locked out. And I think that's a good.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have an issue with raising the damage floor to, let's say, like a average Hyperbloom team, because like Abyss is the end game content, right? Like it doesn't have to be as accessible as it's been.
I think that's true.
It can be tuned up. It's not a big thing. I mean, unless if they tune it too hard and then people quit because it's. But I don't think, like the people who play the game casually care about Abyss that much anyways.
They don't. I've seen quite a few posts of people saying, oh, I'm just going to get 30 stars on this Abyss, or I'm just going to get 33 stars on this Abyss. It's not worth my frustration to get.
Yeah, and I've seen the sentiment of remove Primo Gems from Abyss. Like, there's a whole spectrum of opinions here.
Yeah, I can see some of those arguments. I think there should be some kind of carrot, right? Some kind of reward for participating in the hard content. But I do think it's fair to say that most people shouldn't be able to clear with 36 stars, right? That said, and I think we should acknowledge this. We've got Sevi, we've got Enviosity. I believe we have I Win to Lose, who have all posted videos of 4 stars, 36 starring the Abyss. So while you can say what you want about their levels of investment, whatever, the fact that even this Abyss, which is by all accounts the hardest we've seen, and be cleared with all 4-star units, I think it's still okay.
Yeah, I think like you'll always have people who push that, and I think that's always a good showcase because there's lots of other games, like in Fire Emblem Heroes, for example. There's guides on how to do the toughest fights with only the free units, right? Like,
Yep.
this is a pretty standard gotcha thing that happens. So so long as that threshold is still met, I don't see an issue with it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And to be clear, I'm not the skillful player who can do those clears with the 4 stars. My hat is off to those people. That is impressive gameplay, right?
That's why we vertically invest, right?
Exactly.
so that we lower the skill threshold.
And we've brought it around full circle, which is, of course, a good time for me to say it is that time on the West Coast for me. So as much as I always appreciate the invite, my family is ready for me to join them for dinner. So.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much, as always.
Yes, thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to chat Genshin with you guys. I look forward to the next one.
For sure. Have a good one.
Last question.
Yes.
Should I continue for Miss Splitter, or should I go for C1?
Okay. All right. No, this is good. See, you've really kept me here with this one. Okay, I'll tell you this. There are a few single items or characters that I think can be as impactful to an account as Miss Splitter. I think Miss Splitter, Primordial Jade Cutter,
Homa.
I'm not sure that I put Homa in that category anymore. I think at one point it was, but I think we've gotten some really good spears since then.
Right.
But at the same time, like Homa comes close, but I think there are a few things that can just improve your account, because you can take Miss Splitter and slap it onto just about any sword wielding unit, and it's going to be within the top 3 weapons for them, and usually number 1 or number 2. It's a pretty awesome thing to have on your account. Shenhe C1. If you love Shenhe, like, it's 100% worth it in my opinion. Like, I think it's actually a really good C1. I think it's an underrated C1. It gives a lot of quality of life. It gives you the ability to activate both buffs at once, which is really cool. So, if you're going to play Shenhe, there's nothing wrong with going for that. But Miss Splitter is just one of those, like, that's an account upgrade for everybody. Like, that just steps you up. And it doesn't matter what you have on your account, it's a step up for your account.
Yeah, I think if you have Yalan at C1 and not Shenhe, that's like that doesn't make sense. Yalan is not the reason you started playing Genshin.
Agreed.
Shenhe is the reason you started playing Genshin.
This is a fair point.
Right.
I would never judge you for going C1. I think C1 is fantastic. It's hard to argue against Miss Splitter. It's that good.
The answer is both then, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Go spend money. Swipe, and have fun.
We'll see.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great night.
Take it easy.
Thank you so much.
Another sucrose.
Hello there, Sign. Sign has graced us with the graceful commentary of Lion. Go for that Shen Hussy.
Yes, sir. Say less.
So this is 30 pulls, okay.
I need to actually win the... Uh-oh.
Is that so?
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Did I win?
Yeah, well... Oh, you forged 20 items. Well, your battle pass is so much rather than mine.
Did I win?
You didn't... It was a 4-star.
Yes, but what 4-star was it?
I don't know. Does it matter? You have them all C6.
That's fair. All right, we gotta win
it
this
could have been a
50-50
weapon.
chief.
Yeah, you got this.
Oh boy.
I'm not on that pull, but oh look, it's Mika. I don't have a C6 Mika.
I would give you one of my extras.
Just like I give you my extra Faruzans.
I don't want
So that's
them,
been
though.
60 pulls so far. This is 70. Oh look, it's a sucrose.
Woodsith.
Oh, you love Woodsith. Can't get
a little
enough.
tired of it. Okay. What are we at now? I think I started
So
at
that was
92.
70. Yeah, you had 92. So this is gonna be Are you doing multis or singles?
Singles.
Okay, 71. Were you at exactly 0 before?
Yes.
Okay. 72. 73. 74. Almost there. 75. Okay. Halfway to a 4-star. Next pull. This is it.
Okay, I'm just gonna close my eyes.
Okay.
Press the button.
Okay, so this was not it. Okay, next pull. This is a 5-star.
I don't like that. I don't like your words. Scale of 1 to 10, how upset am I?
What is maximum upsetness? Is it a 10?
Yeah.
It's a 10.
So I assume it's a Chi-Chi.
No. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe a 9?
Or you've got to be fucking kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Go away, D-Luke. Go away. Stop haunting me. Go away.
He will not stop. He will not stop until you build him.
Jesus Christ. This game.
Your D-Luke is like my Ka-Ching.
No back-to-back.
Just never stops.
So you've betrayed me again.
If only Meiru was here. Meiru is the good luck charm. Yeah, Lion's Luck really is something else. I don't know what to say. It is.
I mean, my luck with Yalan in that area was pretty decent. To okay-ish. It was fine, but the last few banners, it's been really really bad.
Between Dea and Bacon, and yeah. Well, you got Calamity Queller.
I did.
Right? That was good. That was your first one. Like, you didn't have to go through multiple.
This is upsetting. Oh
Are you gonna
boy,
stop for now?
I get his glowing
T4.
pocket ability.
There, now you get to play a little rhythm game.
Oh, I fucking love her. Ooh. I'm not mad. You're mad.
Didn't you have so much fun doing the rhythm game part of Windblume?
No, I hated it actually.
It feels exceptionally bad when you're playing on PC.
That fourth hit is very very slow.
Yeah, that's why I don't play D-Luke anymore.
Did I mess that up?
I think you did. Oh, and now that you have Bacon, you can put Wolf's Greatsword on D-Luke.
You're supposed to be able to kind of loop that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I could look up his ideal rotation.
I'm pretty sure it's something like this. It's something like that.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you now have a C4 D-Luke.
Oh boy.
And Ayaka is on the banner right now. So you have the ability to recreate that GIF that we saw.
Yeah, but I need C4 Ayaka.
She's on the banner.
Yeah, but I'm not doing that.
You could get your C6 D-Luke along the way.
Oh, I'm sure that I could. I'm sure that I could get C12 D-Luke on the way to C4
You know what?
Ayaka.
Think about it this way: some people are cursed with Chi-Chis, right? You could. D-Luke isn't the worst one to be cursed by.
That's fair. I would rather be cursed with C6 Dea.
Is
Frankly.
Dea on standard as of right now, or does she
I
come
think
in
she's
3.6?
3.6. Let's take a look.
Right, we do have the information.
How do I... Hello? Where's my mouse?
Oh, I've had that happen before, where my mouse disappears. I think it had something to do with being in
There we
full
go.
screen.
Blah, blah, blah. Stuff. Talking.
List of items, right?
So Tenari, Mona D-Luke, Ching, Chi-Chi.
Yeah, she's not. She's not there yet.
So yeah, it's 3.6. So rate ups. The other nice thing that happened, I guess, with these banners was I think I got like 2 or 3 Laylas. I got and like a Candace. I got a bunch of like off banner characters, which I was very pleased about because like I was at C1 for Layla. I think Candace
now you
I
have
was
C3.
at C1
Candace is good.
or C2 as well. Yeah,
Or,
I like Candace.
Layla is good. Candace is interesting.
I like Candace. She's cool. Big Yu-Gi-Oh vibes.
Yes.
Something that I was going to mention when we were talking about Mika, that we just kind of segued away from it. Mika, and I would really like to hear Null's thoughts on this. Mika does have one other use.
That being.
When it comes to amplifying damage, which is let me set the party up for this. Where is he? No, not you. You.
Cell is jealous of your Layla. See, Cell Lion's luck isn't all that bad.
So official, kind of whatever, right?
Right. And then you're gonna give her the attack speed boost.
Yeah. So physical official was a thing for a while, and something I've seen. Actually, I've seen people. Maybe they're coping as far as Mika, but something I'm seeing them recommend is Mika as a potential support for not only official but for Yoimiya. Just the broadcasts.
Yeah.
And now we're reconnected. There we go.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Little hiccup.
Sorry, you were saying?
I've seen video of Yoimiya vomiting out probably 20 attacks in 3-ish seconds, something like that. Like the attack speed up is really nice.
Right. Does Mika get additional attack speed from constellations?
You would ask me that question.
Because otherwise, like, Layla provides attack speed.
Does she?
Yeah, on I think C4, maybe C2.
No, he does not.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go to Layla's constellations, I'm fairly certain. Because I remember when I was looking at Layla to be in my Wanderer teams.
Which I noticed you didn't do. So shield absorb. Okay.
So well, because I have a very low constellation.
1 energy, which sounds pretty nice. Oh, that was a thing about Mika. It's clear that they've tried to do constellation things. Normal and charged damage.
Oh, maybe that was it, and it was because like that obviously.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. But yeah, like Yinjin is a attack speed support. Candace doesn't do attack speed, right? She just does attack infusions.
She does infusions. She also buffs the attacks themselves, but I don't think she does attack speed. Yeah, I think she just increases the damage of the attacks themselves. Yeah, increased elemental damage
Yes, we're
from their
back. Yeah,
attacks.
yeah. It died for a second, but we're back.
Yep. Something you were mentioning earlier, and we kind of also moved on from it. You mentioned some lore within Windblume.
Have you done Windblume?
I did do Windblume.
And you finished it? You saw all the story and everything?
I did.
Okay. So, I feel like the lore is very backloaded in Windblume. It's mainly all the final conversation at the tea table. Like there's a little bit here and there of, the Mondstadt, with their lovers, Sino and Tainari are there as just as escorts for Kale to hang out with Amber for sure. That's the only reason why they're there. Yeah. So we get a lot more screen time with Kale as well. Kale, after she's been cured of uh, the thing
Elizar.
that, yes. So that is there's a lot of good scenes with Kale, with her coping and her befriending Sucrose, and how they're both very sort of like Meek-ish personalities, but they have their differences, and how those are kind of gone into in more detail about how, being shy is fine. You just need to find your group of friends that, you're able to be comfortable with, and how to get out of your shell and all that, adjusting to interacting with people. So I thought a lot of those interactions were very nice. It was good to see people from different regions interact. We don't get to see that too often. So overall, like, all those little nice character moments, I think were great. Those are probably some of the best parts in Genshin in general. There were some interesting choices in terms of characters. Like, Mika is technically part of Windblume for like one cutscene and then disappears. Like, I don't really know why. Well, I know why he was included, because he's on the banner right now, but it doesn't feel like he was
I don't even
as
remember
gracefully
Mika
done
showing
as
up.
other. Yeah, he shows up with, I think, Sino. He's one of the people talking about the middle reason. I think the flower that's not of this world. I think that's one of the things that Mika
Oh,
talks
right, when
about.
you just randomly run into like groups of people. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no, he's the a guide who will keep you, like someone who will always guide you to the right thing, because Mika is the guide
Does
for
Oh, right.
Varka's group.
And then he makes us some maps or something.
And then he makes a map, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm good with maps, I guess." So yeah, Mika feels a little bit shoehorned in, but it is nice to see everyone's different perspectives on some of those questions. Like a flower that's not of this world. Albedo talks about his chemical alchemy stuff. Yeah. Sino talks about, a bunch of being a true guide, and how, you shouldn't lie, and he's a cop and he does cop things. Yeah. So yeah, all those moments are very cool. The main world, like, setting lore that we get is, I can't remember the name of the group in specific. They had like a little movie trailer that they also released on YouTube. It's
What?
the Circle of Mages.
The Hexen Circle?
Yes, the Hexen Circle. And so we get to see the location where they used to meet, and we learn that some of them are no longer with the group, and you sort of graduate from being in the Hexen Circle when you get married, which is, I don't know why. That's the reason when you're no longer a witch, you're no longer part of the club, and they have a girls' night out whenever someone gets married. They have their bachelorette party, and they do their last big hurrah, and then they leave. So they were talking about this with the random character that shows up from. Was she from Fontaine or Shasnaya? I think it was
She looks
Shasnaya.
like she's from. Shenhe.
Yeah.
But I
So
think the name that she dropped was someone from Fontaine or Sumeru or something like that.
yeah. But basically, there's an NPC that we meet who, when the story quest initially dropped, a lot of people, including myself, were like, "Could that be Alice?" And then I think it's like the next cutscene later, it's like it explains who it is, and it's just some generic model in a coat. And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not Alice." But it is. We find out later at the end that she is the disciple of one of the witches from the Hexen Circle. And we also see that Mona talks with Alice. Basically, you go there and you have a conversation with Alice. Alice being Klee's mom and the creator of Albedo, and a whole bunch of other things
Spoilers.
in the lore. That these are character backstories.
Spoilers.
Yeah, for years old lore. But Alice, she's always been a quirky character in the lore, is my understanding, because she does impressions. So she does an impression of
That was really
Mona's
funny.
instructor, and it was like are they all there? And then no, it's clear that Alice is she's just doing impressions to be quirky, and trick everyone. I thought the conversation with her was strange in one aspect that I found very, very odd, and that is how much she did not speak to Klee.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Oh.
She just randomly was like, "Oh yeah, mommy is really busy" or whatever.
Yeah, like she was talking with everyone, but no Klee. So I don't know why. Like only in the very beginning she's like, "Hi, Klee," and then at the end where Klee is like, "Bye, mom," and Alice is like, "Okay, bye." It's just it felt very odd there. Like she talked more with Albedo than she did with Klee. So I wonder, is there any specific reason as to why she doesn't want to interact with her daughter in that manner as much? Or if they talk about Klee's hat. Okay, what is there something going on with Klee's hat that I'm not aware of?
I don't know.
Because I don't know what that means. So
I don't know anything about Klee other than that Tell really likes Klee,
Yeah,
probably
like,
more than most people do,
yes,
and that she's weird, and that I
she
really
has a red
hate.
hat.
I really, really, really dislike her English voice.
It was handpicked.
I'm sure the voice actress is amazing. I don't like her in the role of Klee specifically.
No, I don't mind the voice acting, but I mean, I also don't mind Paimon.
Because she's supposed to be this like adorable character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, like in Japanese, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, but so basically what we learned there is that there's the Council of Witches, and they used to meet up all the time, and they don't meet up anymore. A lot of them are retired now, and so Mona is the inheritor of the astrological school of magic, and the other girl was the girl from Nesnaya or Fontaine was the disciple of another mage witch who had graduated. I don't believe Alice has an inheritor, or if she does, we're not aware of her to the best of my knowledge.
The will of Alice.
Yes, there is no will of Alice as far as I'm aware.
I mean,
although she seems to be fairly active still, unlike the rest of the witches who we haven't seen anything of.
I mean, with all those impersonations, it could be you.
Yeah.
Inheritor of the will of Bozo.
Yeah, oh my god. But yeah, so we basically just learned more about
Jesus, that does so much
their
damage.
lore, and how they had a larger role to play in the setting in general. And they seem to know more than, at least Alice does, know more than most of the characters in the plot so far that we're adjacent to, aside from the Archons. Right, like Alice seems to have a greater knowledge of the history of the world and Conry and all that, compared to everything else going on.
I glanced at the chat for a minute. I saw an interesting comment about where Trevoid is in the co-op.
Wait, what? You guys are already doing co-ops.
Yeah, but we could have another co-opper here.
Such nightmares here. Now I have to boot up Genshin. Okay, give me a second. And I have to move the chat pop-up. Putting it away.
Man, Data sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was well known. I don't know if
yeah, this is my first time actually playing Dea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In like meaningful.
No, like outside of her trial.
Oh. Well, I don't think she's getting much out of Shenhe.
That's fine.
Which group recruits women who have a lot of baggage so they can't leave? Yeah, I guess that's one way of putting it, Stein. Yeah. And then they get married, and then they ditch. Okay, I'm ready whenever you are. Yeah, Dea certainly is one of the units of all time.
That's pretty good. Hello, crit rate. Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, wow, that's really good. That's a really good circlet.
I'll take it.
Friends. Lion. Request join.
Should I reject it or accept it? Do I have to be two people, or do you guys...
Oh, okay, I am the one.
I mean,
okay,
because
I'm
there's a weird number of... Like, there's three of us.
Two people.
Oh, it's me. Okay. I'll be... Obviously, Shenhe. I'll go Bennett.
Yeah, there, we've got a good freeze melt team.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I can heal my Shenhe, who is on death's door.
Did you have any additional thoughts you wanted to add on Windblume?
The implications of the fact that we're finally getting to hear Alice, to me, suggests that she might actually show up and play like a role in the story, like in the game soon, which would be really neat. Because she is one of these characters who's supposed to be, omega powerful and everything, and we've gotten nothing from her so far. So I'm really interested, especially as we go forward. We've got Fontaine and Schnaya and Natlan. Do we have anywhere else that we're going?
Those are the three other regions, right? And then we have...
Presumably we're going to go fight Celestia or some nonsense. I don't know. Like, bring it on, bitch.
The lion, guess what I got.
How do I kick someone from co-op? I don't even... I've got a pretty good guess. Was it an EM Sands or Circlet?
Sands.
Son of a bitch.
I'm gilded.
Son of a bitch. I need the 3 of those now.
The subsets are. I also got a crit rate, but that was
Jesus! So much damage. Woo! So much damage.
Oh, an HP goblet, it sucked. Ooh, no. Okay, gotcha.
More defense. Everybody loves defense. I was commenting on something on Reddit.
No, that's your first mistake.
Yeah. I don't even remember what the subject was, but they asked somebody was saying something about I don't remember what the context was, but I used it.
This is a great story.
It's a terrible story, and I know it. I used it as a means to go off on how every time you do artifacts in this fucking game, it's always defense, unless you want defense, and that's when you start getting elemental mastery.
Yeah, so just start farming for Ito, and then you're golden.
Yeah, but it'll be on Husk when I'm farming for Ito.
Yeah, off piece.
That's the problem, is I already have my off pieces.
Well, now you can get better off pieces. Ooh, an EM circlet with an ER substat. In Gilded. Wow.
I can't tell if I'm being gaslit or if this is...
No, you're not. Your world's great. Oh, you finally got your EM circlet on VV? Congrats, Sign.
Very nice.
Yeah, whenever Kazuha decides to grace us with a rerun, we'll be able to have copy. What EV units do you have? It's just Sucrose, right? I think it's just Sucrose.
God, that's effective. That's my last
Does
game.
Shenhe buff party members in co-op?
You know, I actually don't know the answer. Okay, that's not bad.
I think it needs to say it like explicitly. Oh, that's a good feather.
Low energy recharge. I'll take
Yo,
that.
those are both good. I mean, it's Deepwood and not Gilded, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
I don't think I need an ER Sands for Gilded. Although, I guess you really would want an ER Sands for every like
Yeah.
artifact set, just for a rainy day. I do not have my burst of minute. I need a
Sal
little
was
more.
saying that Shenhe should be a party buff. And yeah, so it's fine. Sayu is definitely an animal supply, for sure. Do you not have a single Sucrose? You can fix that right now.
Yeah, Sucrose is so on base. She's trying to get pulled. Like,
Ooh, not a bad HP sand, crit damage, and ER. So
I mean, you saw how many of the Sucroses I got. HP Goblet. Damn it.
that's your Yelan right there.
No, she needs Hydra.
Is it higher investment that she goes to HP?
No, I don't think she ever goes to HP Goblet.
I thought like C6 she does. Maybe not.
Okay, I have my Bursto. I don't have Shenhe's though. God damn. There we go. Please stop hitting me.
Only we could freeze these guys.
That was something else. We were talking about Spiral Abyss. I'm not a huge fan of how a lot of the... that's decent. A lot of the time, freeze teams are more or less useless. I understand that, you want to cater to, like, the new thing, Dendro, whatever. That's fine. But a lot of these floors, you can't really get anywhere with freeze. Because you're fighting bosses or, boss-adjacent enemies. Like the consecrated beasts. Which, you can freeze them, but the window for it it's really weird. Because they just don't want to get frozen at all.
Yeah, I think there's also an element of... Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, I'm not gonna have burst next round. It's too powerful when it's like up, because the enemies don't interact with you once they're frozen, right? It becomes a one-player game. Like,
if you could freeze everything, sure. But when something is consistently kind of, I don't want to say nerfed, but when it just doesn't work at all. This is kind of similar to the elemental lockouts in Defo to an extent, where you have an entire archetype that just can't function. Meanwhile, Hyperbloom, you know?
yeah.
Just...
Yeah, I think it's the curse of, like, kind of like ventiable content, where when it works, it's so strong that you shoot it in the leg a bunch, so that people can't abuse it.
And yet, you know, we've got Hyperbloom running wild. Like, you would think this Abyss with double cryo... Sure, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 cryo units on banner. You'd think that at least one of the floors would be freezable.
Or at the very least have a... Actually, I don't know what the floor buffs are because I don't look at the layer level. But are there any that are cryo buffs?
I have no idea. I haven't gone to the later floors, but when I heard double... What was it? Hydrolector, I think you said?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can't freeze those.
But cryo is very good against hydrolectors, isn't it?
I would assume so.
Right, like
but specific to
with hydro shields, cryo.
Specific to freeze, though. Like, that is far and away Ayaka's best team, right?
Nalth isn't here to talk about the virtues of Mount Ayaka, unfortunately. Yes, freeze is her best team.
Res Shred.
Man, look at that. We just melted them. Literally.
No, we didn't melt them.
I saw melt.
We froze them.
I saw melt pop up.
Yeah.
Defense circlet. Ugh.
Me too. How did you know?
Mine's gilded.
Mine is Deepwood, I think. This place sucks.
You go to Emblem Domain then.
All it gives is stuff for everybody else that they want. I need an EM circlet and 3 EM sands. They don't all have to be simultaneous. Let me be clear. That would be nice, but it's not necessary.
But, yeah, I think we about covered everything we wanted to discuss today.
Was there anything else?
Was there anything else you wanted to go over?
Just that Shenhe is the most important character in the game. She has very little development within the story, and that's fine, because they gotta leave some mysteries for, you know, when you go to the next region, and then you gotta see her very briefly the next Lantern Rite and learn more about her. So, you know,
you learn about her once a year.
Exactly.
She's Chongyun's aunt, apparently. That's cool, I guess. Everyone loves Chongyun, right? Day one Chongyun fan.
I'm actually seeing some positive hype. Not like hype, that's probably the wrong word. But I've heard some good things about Chongyun, recently.
I mean, he was part of the OG national team, so.
Specifically in a melt capacity or something about his infusion. I don't know. There's stuff that you can do. Apparently his burst hits really hard. I don't know. Let's see, what do we got? Can we leave the stream with something good? No. Well, all right.
That's okay.
teammate has left the domain. Tree Void.
Yeah. I ran out of resin. Sorry, I had to leave.
What do you mean you had to leave?
I ran out of resin, so I didn't want to stay in the domain. So I left it.
Wow. Some team player you are.
Yeah, I play to get my rewards, not to get your rewards.
Why don't you use some fragile resin there, Mr.
I did.
I got a farm. Hey, you gotta use some more.
No, I don't want to use one. Final
Holy
thoughts?
Shit. Yeah, final thoughts.
Boy, 3.5 has been a patch. Did we get the Caleb? Oh God, the lore quest. Did we get the Dane quest this patch?
Kari Bear? Yes.
Yes. Okay, that was good. And Windblume was good too. So I guess the event, like the story one and the event one, were good. I think I liked Windblume's lore stuff more than I liked Lantern Right, but overall, this patch kind of wasn't great.
You think so?
I did. So it was great for my resources and my wallet because I didn't pull. But in terms of everything else going on, I wasn't crazy about it. I do think there was good story progression. So that's good. And one of the reasons why I play Genshin is the story's okay. But I mainly play for exploration, and there was no exploration, and I didn't get any new toys to play with. So basically all I've done this patch is spend resin in domains, which isn't very exciting. I mean, I don't have 3 new units like you do. 3 new 5-stars since this patch started, right? So.
Indeed.
Yeah. What are your parting thoughts, Lion? Wow, you're gonna kick me out?
We can do the domain or you can fuck out.
I didn't need to leave. Okay, yeah.
Dea makes me really sad.
Yeah.
But at least Shenhe is there to fill most of the Dea-sized void in my heart.
Oh, I think she fills it in more.
I mean, but there is still a Dea-sized hole. She is this really, really cool character who they built up in the story to be this absolute, just total badass. And she's great. Her design is really cool. Her talents, like, on paper, they sound really awesome. But then the kit just did not come together at all, and it feels horrible. I would have loved nothing more than to use her as, like, an on-field character. With her really, like, all of her animations are super cool. Like, even just her normal attacks.
And they're like, shove her in the back.
Yeah. Like, where are you? There you are. So for normals, we get, basic slash, whatever, overhead, into, I like this shoulder shield bash thing, into a punch. Like, that's super cool. No other character has a moveset like that. And then you've got, hey, here's this really big field where you take less damage. Here's a character that can heal themselves. Oh yeah, by the way, you can reposition it. It's got coordinated attacks. It's like, oh, sick. You've got this zone where you're going to take less damage, and it can work kind of like Xingqiu or Yalan. Or, does anyone else have coordinated attacks? I guess Alhaitham technically does.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. The interval is super long, and the hit registration is wonky, and it just... Oh. I don't know how that happened. And then you've got her burst, which, the auto-targeting is fine, but when...
You try to jump.
You can get canceled out of it by being frozen. Here's a character who's literally the flame main. That's her moniker. Her epithet is the flame main, and she has all this interruption resistance, but she can't be resistant to freeze for the duration of her burst. That also doesn't work with Xingqiu or Yelan. She has really bad energy issues. Her energy generation is really shitty. She just feels bad. And it sucks because she's so cool.
Yeah, I definitely empathize with that. Like, I really like Sino's design. And I'm not saying Sino's anywhere near as bad as Dea, but just
that's
like,
good.
He also kind of feels bad to play. And so I get that, where it's like you pull for a character because you really like them, but it's just not really it.
Like, Dea would be a badass character to do like an Elden Ring build, or like around, like, those animations are so satisfying.
Maybe. Are you hinting at something?
No, I'm just talking. I'm not doing a fist build in Elden Ring. Are you kidding me?
Why?
No.
I thought you loved fisting.
No. Those are my final thoughts. With that being said, I had... What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought.
How could that have happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine. Final thoughts for the default players out there. Don't pull for Vivi. He's not that good.
Oh my god. I didn't want to get into it.
He really isn't. You can listen to Tree Void, Mr. I think Ash is bad because I played Ash.
Ash is bad.
I played Ash. I fully invested. Blah blah blah.
I can't believe you're defending Ash.
And
shitting
then
on Vivi.
he wants to defend Vivi after having not invested in him, used him in any capacity.
I have him green and blue in GP.
Yeah.
And I'm
now
going to
you
green
do.
him now. No, I always did.
Uh-huh.
I did it on stream. We have Echoes content for.
Never
This is
used him.
gaslighting.
Meanwhile, I did the exact same thing and used him repeatedly. He's just not that great. He's fine. Which, for the people who think that fine is like a slap in the face, first off, go fuck yourself. Learn what the word fine means. It means it's fine. It's adequate. It's not great. It's not bad. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. That's what fine means. Not in a sarcastic, British way. Although, speaking of which, I do have some tea here.
Brit Bonga. Oi.
But those are my final thoughts, as well as a small rant. Yes, Cell, I agree. I hope some new... they try some stuff with Fontaine characters to make Dea better. Also, yes, I agree, Yoshi. Yuffie is super cool, but she doesn't stand out at all.
Yeah, Yuffie is mid. I agree.
Like, she's not bad.
Yeah, she's mid.
She's fine.
I mean, that's what mid means. Middling.
Eh,
Middle of the road. Middle of the road.
Mid has more of a negative connotation, like subpar.
I mean, so does fine, but
no,
like,
I think fine has a neutral connotation. Like, it's fine. It's more positive than it is negative.
maybe in the general sense, but not in the defo community.
I mean, the defo community is terrible.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think we're aware. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my final thoughts. Everybody, those Genshin players, go out there, get you a Shenhe, and not we have Shenhe at home.
Yeah, look at that. Shenhe's great.
Agree. Yeah, it is day and off. We're actually right about to sign off. So thank you guys for coming. We do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on the bell for notifications for more videos. I think our next stream is probably tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or
tomorrow.
Friday or something. I don't know.
Tomorrow, maybe Friday as well. But tomorrow for sure we're going to be streaming Yakuza.
Yeah, there'll be some more Curiosity, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be able to talk Treevoid into actually doing a side quest.
I do side quests all the time.
And not blow our eardrums out playing video games in the arcade. But we'll see.
I love Harrier.
We know. Thank you all for coming.
Have a good one, guys.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.